bit of fun with the CB on a very wintry afternoon, shall we? Should probably do my jacket all the way up as well, shouldn't I? That's better. So I've not been out on the CB for the best part of a month, having got the Tiger and work just being all round bloody busy. I've only really used the bike for commuting, but lots of people have been asking me about what modifications I've done on my little CB and stuff like that. So I figured I'd talk through a couple of them if you're interested. I should point out it's proper chilly. It is currently, I think, about 4 degrees centigrade, which is, I don't know how many that is in freedom height. But it's chilly and the wind chill is fucking cold. So my penis will be like a press stud by the time I finish this. Oh. And this is a very different riding position to the Tiger, which I've kind of got used to, and this feels like a tiny bike, but a really little shouty bike, which is just so much fun. And yeah, it's cool. Those of you who are astute will have noticed I've changed my wing mirrors. I will pop the ones that had the high siders on before, and I hit one of them on someone's wing mirror when I was riding in London. They were, well, I hit them, they hit me. They decided to change lanes midway through me filtering in London traffic, and we made contact on the wing mirrors, and one of my high siders now, as soon as you get above A speed, which is around about 75-80ish, it just kind of goes Neh. So I trying these out, and I quite like not having bar end grips now. These are the Puig high-tech ones. And what I've realised is, because the handlebars on this and on bikes this type are quite narrow, it's quite nice to be able to put my hands on the bar end weights, because I've got relatively large hands. I wear XL size gloves and stuff like that, so having a little bit of extra finger space, you know, everybody likes their fingers to be comfortable and enjoyable. God, I love this bike. They're probably not the conditions to be riding like a complete bell end on, so we'll keep it legal-ish. But yeah, so some of the upgrades, obviously I've got the dart screen up front, which is purely aesthetic. I mean, it doesn't really do anything for wind deflection or anything like that, but it's absolutely fine. It serves a purpose in that I think it looks pretty. It's really easy to put on there. I've put I tried out the Puig spotlights with the Puig bracket and everything like that for this thing. I had them on the front of the bike for a little bit. They're pretty easy to install, but I just didn't like the overall look of it, and it ended up, you know, another switch on the handlebars, which, you know, another upgrade that I've got are the Oxford heated grips, which with my hands in this weather is a bit of a godsend. But yeah, it was like another switch over here that was bright green and all that sort of stuff, and it kind of bugged me just looking at it. And then I've got the quad lock phone holder, which my phone's actually in my pocket at the moment, but I do use that quad lock phone holder for I use my phone for my sat nav, and it's got the vibration dampener on it. And what I did with the USB, I've got the quad lock USB, but if you put it on there, it kind of sticks up really far. So I've actually hidden away the USB socket there. So you just run a little cable between the two, and it works really well. So it's just from there to the bottom of the phone. And I tend to use my phone in landscape mode on this bike, just because it's keeps it all nice and minimal. God, this thing. Yeah, so other bits and pieces I've got, obviously I've mentioned the Oxford heated grips, the mirrors, the fly screen. The big one obviously is the Black Widow exhaust, which currently doesn't have the DB killer in, because fuck it, I'm being antisocial, and people can just live with it. I've taken the rear foot pegs off, I've put an RNG tail tidy on it, I've got the RNG tank pad and thigh grips. On this one, the tank pad's not really necessary, but the kind of tank grips on the side, absolutely essential, because when I was riding this without that, I kind of found I was nutsing myself on the tank on a fairly regular basis. So yeah, they're quite useful, to say the least. I mean, only if you like your testicles, or even if you've got testicles, although 100% of people who view my channel, as I found out there's a load of analytics, not a single woman has viewed my channel, so that says an awful lot about CB650R riders. Or just people who watch YouTube motorcycle stuff, I suppose. That's probably more of an appropriate statement, isn't it? Let's just... hit a rev limiter then. What happened there? Well, she seems to be behaving, but she did not like being pushed that hard. Well, I've got an engine management light on now. I should probably head back. That's a bit shit, isn't it? Let's see if that's one of those safety things where it will clear after a couple of restarts. We'll try that in a second. Either that, or it will be time to take this one to a dealer. That will be a shame. But yeah, talking about other bits and pieces that we've got going on with this bike. As I say, I've deleted the rear pegs. I have got the Black Widow exhaust system, the RNG tail tidy, I've got the RNG frame sliders, and I've got the engine sliders as well, which I've put on there. The funny thing about that is when I got them from the garage, the place I bought it from, they put them in the wrong place, so I will take a little video of it later and put it into this video. But there is a right place and a wrong place to put those things, and essentially the guys put it in the wrong place. And it's basically, if you drop the bike where they had it put, I'll quickly show you now. So that's the correct mount, they put it there, and if you see, that's a little stress member that if you drop it on there, that breaks. You can't fix that. That's bike write-off territory. Let's see if we've still got an engine management light going. Yep. I think this is going to be a bit more of a sedate and a slightly shorter run than anticipated. That's a bit of a bugger. I will have to look back on the footage as to what I did. I think I might have hit the rev limiter. Ah well, shit happens. Oh, one of the other things that I've got on this one is the shift stabilizer, which helps. So let's shut you down for a minute, give it a break. Oh, let's see if anything's pissing out anywhere. No, it seems to be okay. So, oh yeah, the other thing, these are brand new tyres. These are the Michelin Pilot Road. Très bizarre. It pitched to fit, didn't it? I wonder if it's like the Tiger where the light will just turn off after a while. So I'll be a bit annoyed about that if that's the case, as this bike's only got about 7,000 miles on it. But that's okay, it's a 2021 plate and it's 2021. I will take it to Honda and we shall see what Honda say. Now what's quite funny, in comparison to this and the Tiger, you tend to ride the Tiger a bit more aggressively than this, which is hilarious. I think that's because it's got wind protection and everything like that. This thing doing 70-ish on the Tiger versus doing 70-ish on this feel very, very different. You have to get tucked up a little bit on this one. But what we'll do is I'll do some diagnosis on this one, see if I can't figure out what's throwing the engine warning light come up. But you know, she restarted again without any issues and she seems to be running absolutely sweet as a nut. So I'm assuming that there was just a momentary brain fart in there, which, you know guys, these things do happen with stuff like this, especially new bikes. You know, it's not uncommon for bikes and stuff like that to throw a wobbly every now and then. Let's give her another restart. Look at that, 3 restarts and the engine management light's gone. Can't argue with that, can you? I don't think that thing's picked us up that we're here. And traction control and ABS turn off as soon as you start rolling, because obviously traction control and ABS aren't enabled when you're not moving, so they don't really engage until you start moving. Now, I'll be interested to look back on that footage and see what exactly just happened and what that was. Like whether or not I missed a gear, got false neutral or something like that, or I don't know. But you know, engine management light goes off after 3 restarts, so I'm going with brain fart. Although that did scare me a little bit, because it was all of a sudden, you know, lost power for no particular reason. But I think the critical thing is it repeatable, and can I make her do it again? Really? Oh, that's ABS kicking in. Oh no, there's an electrical gremlin somewhere. Look, my indicators are trying to come on. Okay, let's turn everything off that's drawing on the battery. I wonder what that is, because it's been on using a battery tender for ages, so for the better part of a month. Fuel's good in it. Fuel's only 4 weeks old. But yeah, there's a short somewhere. Look, you can see my indicators are coming on. So I've got no ABS and my indicators are coming on, so I think there's a pinched wire somewhere, wouldn't you? I think we'll pull over in this town. Oh, I wonder. So that feels like the bike is trying to cut out. Well, this hasn't turned out to be the ride I was fucking expecting. Bloody bikes. I shouldn't say that. I'm, you know, again, yeah, I've said it a couple of times. I'm really fortunate in I've got this one, I've got the Tiger, and I'm building an XS400, which is quite good fun. But yeah, there's obviously something pinched or something's not behaving the way it should. I mean, this is, you're going over a bump and lights are coming on. That couldn't be any more obviously an electrical gremlin. Poodle home very, very cautiously now. But yes, I would bet vital parts of my anatomy that that's wire trapped or something like that, which I will have to do some diagnosis on, which is fine. It just is a bit scary when, you know, you're riding along and the bike suddenly shits itself and loses all power. But you know, it happens. Surprised it's happening on a Honda, I'll be completely honest with you. If I was going to have gremlins, I'd have thought it would be on the you know, 6-year-old Triumph, not on, is it 6 years old? 2015? Yeah, 6-year-old Triumph, not on the less than 12-month-old Honda, which is kind of hilarious. But you know, it is what it is. I do like these tyres though, I do highly recommend those. By the way, I would fully expect this electrical gremlin, wherever she may be, to be operator error. I've had the seat off, and yeah, I've got various chargers and bits like that on here. It could well be that there's one too many gadgets attached, although it's only the hand guards. That one, in fairness, one of them could have a short in it. It could be throwing a problem. I'll have to get the multimeter out and have a dig. And I've got the battery tender, which I'd be very surprised if the battery tender is causing an issue. But what it could easily be is I haven't secured a bolt to the battery properly. I've seen that before on cars and stuff like that. It throws similar problems and things for people. Could be that. It could. I mean, the way it cut out and the way it kind of cuts fueling when it goes. It could quite easily be a wire in the under the ignition here or something like that. So, but we shall have a play and have a look through. But I'll get the multimeter out and test. It could be the grips have shorted. It could be the charger for the phone shorted. It could be I've got a GPS tracker that's hardwired in. Could be that playing up, or there could genuinely be a problem with the bike. But I would be very surprised if there is an actual problem with the bike, as all of the warnings have gone, and she's running sweet as a nut. So I don't think that's the issue. But let's open her up and see if it happens twice, shall we? Yeah, I mean, she seems fine. I'm not going to hammer it because I'm a little dubious about it cutting fueling whilst I'm riding like this. I'd rather, you know, it doesn't launch me into a bush or into a Fiat that pulls out at doing 6 miles an hour on a national speed limit road, because, you know, everybody wants to drive as slow as you daft bitch. 35 in a 60 limit. Yeah, great, twazzock. How odd. Right, I'm going to turn that back on and see if a problem comes back round town. Plus my fingers are fucking freezing now because I've not got my heated grips on. Oh yeah, so thank you to everybody who's liked and subscribed to my videos, by the way. I've only recently started looking at the analytics, which is hilarious because I've got over 100 subscribers, which is just me generally talking shit on a bike, be it this one or the Triumph, or I am doing a bit of a build video on the XS400, but it'll not be a particularly special build video. It's just going to be like one of those time-lapse things of the stuff that I remembered to record. But that thing's starting to look fucking awesome. That's going to be the kind of, you know, pottering for a cup of coffee and not doing much else on it. It's not going to be a long distance bike. She's a 40-year-old kickstart, so she needs some TLC and that side of things. But yeah, it's life is treating me quite well at the moment. I'm thoroughly enjoying life. And I'll get this electrical thingy with this CB sorted out in the next week or two. It won't be any bother whatsoever. I will be able to fix that. Don't you worry about that. I tend to not take like bikes back to dealers for stuff that could have easily have been my fault. I don't see the point in paying someone to use a multimeter to say that you fucked this up, when I could use a multimeter to say that I fucked that up as well. Because let's be honest, it's gonna be something like that, isn't it? Ooh, it's chilly today. It's a proper chilly. Oh, the sound of this exhaust is like ASMR to me. It's brilliant. Just bob, 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 bob. That lovely smooth 4-cylinder sound. Now, I like the sound of the Tiger. I really do, and it's got the Arrow exhaust on it. But it's, yeah, that for me is a bit of a, you know, commuter bike, that sort of thing, or, you know, adventure-y type bike. This thing is just fun, basically. This is now not going to be my primary bike. This is going to be my fun toy bike. And yeah, if anybody's got any ideas for things that you can do, I've got the gear shift stabilizer thing. I'll put a link to all the stuff that I've got on there. I did have aftermarket levers on here. I had some shorty levers, didn't like them. Again, I don't have the smallest hands in the world, and having full-size levers I thought was just better than not having full-size levers. I think that they're more functional and more useful. And also you can one finger brake on this bike if you've got the full levers on, because you've got the leverage for it. If not, then you've permanently got to use two. I don't know if that makes any difference for any consideration. But yeah, if you are thinking of getting a CB650R or a CBR650R, because I've ridden one of those, one of my mates has got one, had to do it. Do it, just buy one. Hello. Just like go and buy one. If you're remotely thinking that this is the kind of bike that you want, it's awesome. It really is awesome. Even with the little gremlin, I've still really enjoyed myself today. And I'd be willing to bet that it's something daft, something really simple to sort out, and it will take me about 2 hours to figure out what it is and about 30 seconds to fix it. That's usually the way these things go, but that's okay. I work in IT, so that's the story of my fucking life.